It did not help that the community of German refugee writers in Los Angeles had failed to embrace Remarque as one of their own. Was it professional jealousy? Intellectual snobbery? Remarque had, after all, attained a degree of international celebrity and commercial success through the publication of All Quiet on the Western Front that seemed to outdo Thomas Mann and Bertolt Brecht, luminaries in the German-speaking world, even if Mann was the writer who had secured the Nobel Prize. "Remarque has made it clear he hates me," Thomas Mann confided in his diary. "His boorish behavior had made that clear before." It is hard to imagine that someone whose behavior you consider boorish would reciprocate with warmth. In fact, part of the boorish behavior may well have been motivated by Mann's disdain for a writer lacking his own trademark complexity, sophistication, and depth. Brecht was no less disparaging, offended by a compatriot who showed up at events with a Hollywood Mexican star on his arm and who wore tailored tuxedos, a cardinal sin in the playwright's book. "His face lacks something. Probably a monocle," he added derisively, revealing just how deeply his contempt for the novelist ran, despite the fact that Remarque was in so many ways a kindred spirit, a writer whose books, along with works by Thomas Mann, Maxim Gorky, James Joyce, Heinrich Mann, and Brecht himself, had been tossed by the Nazis into bonfires set at the Opernplatz in Berlin on May 10, 1933. Erich Paul Remarque was born in the German city of Osnabrück in 1898. He later reverted to the original French spelling of his last name, with the hope of dissociating himself from the extravagances of the first novel he had written, the title of which he said he would refuse to divulge, even under torture, and added the middle name Maria, most likely as a double homage to his mother and to the poet Rainer Maria Rilke. Conscripted into the German army at age 18 in 1917, he was moved toward the Western Front and served in a trench unit in Belgium based somewhere between the town of Torhout and the forest of Houthulst. Wounded during the Battle of Flanders that same year, he spent the last 2 years of the war in a German army hospital. In the post-war period, he took a range of jobs, in advertising, writing copy, and in sales, specializing in monuments and tombstones. He also worked with limited success as a journalist, teacher, and editor. Remarque's second novel, All Quiet on the Western Front, was written in 1927 and did not immediately find a publisher. But once the Vossische Zeitung serialized the work to great acclaim in 1928, it was picked up by the distinguished publishing house Ullstein and became an instant bestseller, despite brisk competition from a wave of war novels appearing in the late 1920s. Remarque's novel captured the imagination not just of war veterans, but also of an entire civilian population. Its appeal crossed national boundaries, and the volume was quickly translated into dozens of languages, with remarkably strong sales continuing over the decades. In America, the book became a standard feature of high school curricula and summer reading assignments. All Quiet on the Western Front has been called the greatest anti-war novel of all time, and more than other war novels published in that year, most famously Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms and Frederick Manning's The Middle Parts of Fortune. It offers a passionate indictment of the horrors of combat, showing how the machinery of war destroys bodies, shatters skulls, tears limbs from torsos, and rips away flesh to expose vital organs. Less confrontational than Ernst Friedrich's photo album War Against War, 1924, with its chilling photographs of soldiers on battlefields and wounded veterans back home, All Quiet on the Western Front gave its readers interiority and intimacy, as only fiction can.